Hello everyone, this is Team 2 case study. In 2012, two kids from Washington State got severe sunburns after being outside for hours. And that's not the only case. In Florida, a 5-year-old boy got badly sunburned after his summer camp. These shocking cases reveal the serious and considerable public concerns. How can we protect our kids from sunburn? With the objectives of building leadership in sunburn knowledge popularization and providing solutions to the public by educational programs, Merck Consumer Care partnered with Polida CRT launched Making the Sunscreen Green campaign, which gained unexpected success. Childhood is the most important time for developing moles, an important risk factor for skin cancer. However, the public is so unaware of the sun threat to kids. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that only 11% of students reported regular or nearly regular use of sunscreen during prolonged periods of regular sun exposure. Also, Polida CRT's research finds that the U.S. schools' rules and restrictions around sunscreen should be to blame. So, with their primary and secondary research, they targeted at parents, school staff, and nurses as their audience. They are the person who have the most directly influential effects on children. With the clear definition of the audience, Polida CRT and Carpenter focused on school policies change rather than promoting the public policy. This gentle and suggestive strategy works most effectively because without putting too much pressure on the public, parents and schools are more willing to accept the educational recommendation, which shows Carpenter's understanding of the great concerns from their audience. Considering the ethnically diverse audience, Dr. Anna Darting's participation facilitated the understanding of messages within the Hispanic community. Making the Sunscreen Green received great audience support and unexpected actions taken. It reflects all the essential elements of effective public relations corresponding to each public relation process. First of all, their research of low sun protection awareness of the public and vague, inefficient existing policies define the problem specifically and quite meets the public interests. It is urgent and timely for a deliberate program to change the current performance and response to the public concern. After confirming their stand of minimizing the threat of unsafe sun exposure, they planned to activate the change in policies in school level and inside parents' actions of starting conversations with school administrators for protection. The plan directly leads the following successful execution of the strategies. After making plans, Polida CRT started to communicate with their audience and execute their strategies. The beginning point of the campaign is figuring out the solution to safely enjoying the sunshine. But their strategic management of competition and conflict didn't stop at encouraging children to apply graded sunscreen. They even went further by facilitating school policies change and the long-run effect of sun protection education. Also, that's why their recommendations achieved an effective two-way communication and even multi-dimensional communication between parents and the schools. With all their integrated plans and executions, their evaluation naturally received unexpected outcomes. Their audience is not only reached but will take actions. 91% of school administrators said that they would recommend the program to other schools. Additionally, their quantifiable examinations of media impressions also reflect the satisfying public attention.
In the textbook, There are 9 different ways that public relations contribute to the bottom line, but we decided to go with 4 essential ones that connected to our project. The first is awareness and information. It makes use of existing reputation and brand awareness. It attempts to target more specific audiences to create consumers and more diversity and support from several social sectors. There is also publicity of the dedication to sunburn protection. The next 2 we decided to combine, and they are opportunity identification and social responsibility. The most successful part of this is of 2 kids' sunburn experiences. The public took interest and it resulted in finding out the marketing opportunity and audience target, not only to increase product intent, but also finding the opportunity itself. The PR case converts product promotion to incorporate a system of national children's skin protection program. It is definitely a win-win chance based on sales and reputation, and it also earns the trust of the public. The last one is change agent. Comprehensive research shows the urge to have a leader and an educator in children's skin protection, and it meets the need of the differentiation of Coppertone brand and brand switching, which is a big help for brand development and smooth transition.
The application of sunscreen in some states is considered a medication that requires a doctor's note to apply. Some children may have allergic reactions to the ingredients that are contained in sunscreen, thus creating liability for the school due to increased harm of a student. Furthermore, possession of sunscreen and application of sunscreen by a student are prohibited by some state laws. Some ethnic groups are more susceptible to vitamin D deficiencies, in which they obtain their source of vitamin D through sun exposure, whereas sunscreen impedes nutrients for vitamin D, increasing risk for other diseases, again, increasing liability. Sunscreens must comply with the Sunscreen Innovation Act of 2014 with respect to ingredients, safety, effectiveness, and human absorption. Personally, the content of this campaign has strong content value. When I was young, my family went to Florida and we went on a family vacation to Florida and stayed in a beach house with walking access to the ocean. This was my first exposure to the ocean, and my parents could not drag me out of the water the first day. Once the fish out of water veered inside, it became apparent that the excessive exposure to sun became my worst enemy. I had second-degree blister burns on my shoulders and face. It felt like I stuck my body into an inferno. At the time, sunscreen was beginning to surface with the FDA in 1978, and my parents were not aware of the risks of sunscreen. The exposure that I had while I was younger increases my risk for melanoma. While I think vitamin D is important for the body, I use supplements and not UV rays. The educational resources that consumers were provided with in this study increased awareness of the exposure and offered knowledge regarding the risk of cancer.
A historical precedent of this case contains Bernay's model in that the psychological and physical role of drawing public's products through advertisement. Bernay, over a long course of his career, had many successful campaigns and became classics and are still looked at today. He had one using in a women's campaign, smoking cigarettes, even though men were usually portrayed smoking cigarettes, so it kind of created a public uproar. Another was Procter & Gamble's soap, where he came up with the idea of sponsoring a soap sculpture contest for school-aged children, aiming at promoting the product to their parents. By doing this, public relations made the consumer aware, driving direct human interaction to use the product. In our case study, our product is making the consumer aware that they need to protect themselves from sun exposure risks. This two-way symmetric awareness is to protect themselves from sun exposure risks. This two-way symmetric approach provided an even partnership driving key relationships that contribute to a successful strategic plan that both satisfies the consumer and Coppertone. The joint tendency of understanding that communication is a two-way street, and it solidifies the relationship built between Coppertone and their consumers. It is a persuasion technique.
Strong segmented audience of parents, children, nurses, and school administrators were established with research of demographics and psychographic information. Trends and patterns effectively reached the audience with a successful message in that it was received, grabbed audience attention, was understood, remembered, and acted upon. This campaign shifted the dynamics of the audience that included welcoming diversity, which is a significant target of public relations in that it broadens the market. While the campaign included many strengths, it also had weaknesses. The research of policies regarding sun protection contained restricted sampling to 15 states and narrowed to 10 locations. Also, the campaign focused on families with children that contained persistence and importance. It lacked focusing on baby boomers, seniors, and Generation X with no offspring. Coppertone's campaign made the grade by targeting and reaching segmented audiences, contained two-way symmetrical communication by creating awareness, relationships, and most importantly, human interaction. Thank you.